Hey, ladies and gents, we're back for the Late Late Show on Nights with Ping. How are you? Hope you had a fun time with Trish. Laurie says it was awesome and sad. There you go. Awesome and sad all in one. That's all you can ask for. Let's get to this. There's been some breaking news, actually. I'm going to set this up. Let me set this up. Get it here. Hold on. Let me get the cover off the camera. There we go. Hey, guys, how are you? We're back. This is the breaking news. So a while ago, there was a surfer who was stabbed to death in a car park at Coffs Harbour. Now, they found him slumped against a car door, and he died at the scene. That was May 2nd. It was a while ago, actually. Says he was allegedly stabbed in the neck and chest after leaving the surf at Park Beach on Ocean Parade in Coffs Harbour around 20 to 7 in the morning. And now they finally charged someone over his death. Very interesting because I hadn't heard anything about them even having a suspect. It says here New South Wales police revealed on Tuesday a 36-year-old man has been arrested at a Coffs Harbour correctional facility. He was taken to the Coffs Harbour police station where he was charged with murder. The man was refused bail to appear before Coffs Harbour local court on Tuesday. Here's the man who was stabbed to death. His name is Kai Schaefer, and it was really brutal. I think we had a video of it. Hold on. Let me grab the original reporting from back when it had happened. Yes, here. Let me set this up. All right.
Stabbed a surfer shortly after he left the water at a beach in Coffs Harbour. The 22-year-old was found in his wetsuit with critical injuries this morning. Paramedics took him to hospital where he died.
We're conducting an evidence search in relation to possible objects used in the offence in and around the area.
A crime scene has been set up in the car park near the surf club.
So there you go. That was the original reporting on it, and it was a really bizarre one. No one's quite sure why he was stabbed or for what reason. Was it random? Don't know. Um, it says here the arrest comes here less than 3 weeks after Pam and Tony Schaefer fronted cameras to make an emotional plea for their son's attacker to come forward. They said, if you think of anything at all, you may not think it's important, yet it might be something that makes the difference. His grief-stricken mother said the death of their son had seen them suffer a sheer loss of our faith in humanity. The love and support our family and friends has been absolutely phenomenal. That's what's kept us out of this black hole. His father added the local community had been so supportive. They said, we thank everyone very much for their assistance and help given to us through these hard times. Just to be honest, he said, he's speaking to the attacker here. He says, just be honest and own up to your mistakes in life. Everyone makes them. Police previously said they believe the attack was random and unprovoked. Very strange. Why would you just randomly attack a surfer in the water for no reason? It's a little odd. Here's the family's GoFundMe that they raised at the time, and yeah, it doesn't. Don't know if it says much here. It just says he was a young athlete. His life was tragically cut short. He was a member of the local soccer club and had previously the North Coast Futsal Club. So he played football. He also represented our region in soccer at the rep level. His parents are contributors to the Cops region in various areas. Yeah, basically saying any updates here. Thank you for the over. Yeah, they're basically just saying thank you for all the help and support the family was given during the time. But now a 36-year-old man arrested over his death. That's pretty good. That's pretty quick. What was it? About a month. About a month for the investigation to narrow down. What's interesting in the reporting is it says he was arrested at a Coffs Harbour Correctional Facility, which means he was already in custody for something else. So at some point after he killed this guy, he was arrested for something else because he was already at the correctional facility, which means he was in jail. So it's a little odd. Maybe he hurt someone else as well. I don't know. They said last month, police said they were searching for a man on a bike who was in the area at the time and may be able to assist them with their investigation. So maybe that has something to do with it. Let me see what else I can find about this arrest, because this is a pretty good one. Pretty good. Pretty it's nice for their family. Yeah. This is from New South Wales Police. This is their website. Homicide detectives charge man over alleged murder. So they said about 6:30. Yeah. They haven't given a name. Just following extensive inquiries, Strikeforce detectives arrested a 36-year-old man at a Coffs Harbour Correctional Facility on Tuesday, the 4th of June, 2024. A 36-year-old was taken to Coffs Harbour Police Station, where he was charged with one count of murder. Interesting. What? Sorry. Kathy, I don't know why you can't get in. That's odd. We are live. Kathy just emailed me saying it won't let her chat. You might have to refresh or something. It is weird. We only got like 3 people in the chat. What is going on? Actually, you're right, Kathy. Something weird is going on. Hold on. Yeah, it's weird. It's acting like we're not live, but we are. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to fix it. I never had this happen before. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. We're just gonna have to keep going. Yeah, because it's weird. Like the bot. Yeah, the bot's working. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on. Hey, Snap Crackle Pop, how are you? Yeah, it's weird. I don't understand. Some people say I just got an email from Kathy saying that she can't even get into the chat at all. I don't know. It's showing some people in here and some people not. YouTube having a moment? Weird. I don't know what's going on with the chat. It should automatically open as soon as we go live. I'll have to see if it kind of rectifies itself or not. If not, people will just have to listen for tonight. Sorry. I don't think there's anything I can do to fix it for you. But anyways, this is so they've arrested this guy, no name released, which is I wonder if we'll get a name once he faces court. Once he faces court, I wonder if we'll get a name. Well, it'll be public information from the court website. We should get something. Let me see if there's any update in the last hour. Here we go. Man charged with stabbing murder of 21-year-old surfer in Coffs Harbour. But do we get a name? No. Okay, so apparently there's going to be a press conference. They're saying here, Commander of the State Crime Command's Homicide Squad, Detective Superintendent Daniel Doherty, is expected on Tuesday to provide more details about the arrest, which means we should get a press conference. Hold on. Let's see if we can find the press conference or not. What is that? Let's see. I'm just going to tune into something and have a look. Nah, they're showing Parliament. Oh, yeah, here we go. Actually, there was an update. I have it. Give me 1 second. Just let me load this up for you. Once it starts, I'll flip you over. So apparently the update was about an hour ago. They're showing on this broadcast I'm watching here. But it's showing the SA budget. And I just don't want to lose my place. Hold on. So let me just check what this says. All right.
Where police are speaking after charging a man with the alleged murder of 21-year-old Kai Schaefer in Coffs Harbour last month.
Relentless amount of dedicated investigative work through interviewing numerous witnesses, CCTV, canvassing. There has been forensic evidence also that will allege that this person was responsible for Kai's death. Murder weapon has been found. That's still we're still appealing for anyone who may find that. Police will also allege that this 36-year-old man was on a bicycle, and that bicycle hasn't been found either. And those images will be provided later on in relation to that.
Do we know what the murder weapon is?
I will believe it, it's a knife of some description.
Do we know what new evidence has come to light today to lead to this arrest?
As I said before, it's been a month's worth of dedicated, determined investigative work from not only homicide detectives, but investigators from Coffs Clarence Police District, compiled evidence from witnesses' accounts, CCTV, and forensic evidence, and which will allege is a strong circumstantial case and sufficient enough to put this man before the court today.
Was he a homeless man?
It's the same. Well, I don't want to comment too much on him, but the same person that was charged after the murder in relation to an unrelated robbery offence. I believe he was a homeless person living in the area at the time.
Was he drug tested at the time?
Well, those sort of things will later on be brought out in court in relation to that. It's not normal practice for us to be drug testing people, but it's in relation to this sort of for a robbery offence. It was not linked to our matter. That matter was investigated by local police. But since that time, as I said, it's been over a month, and our investigators contacted Kai's family. They were the first phone call we did this afternoon. And it's a point where, well, actually this morning, and it's a point where now we can say that whilst we can provide them answers, they're still grieving, and it's very raw emotionally for them.
Prior to the arrest on the unrelated matter, was the man known to police?
Yes, he was known to police. Yes.
What capacity can we say?
I'm not going to go elaborate too much because he's about to face court, but he's known to police. Mainly for petty offences.
So he's been in custody all this time?
He's been in custody since the 2nd of May, yes.
And you connected him with the murder
Yes.
straight away? So
Well, no, it's taken, as I said, it's now the 4th of June.
That's a very interesting tidbit of information there. He's been in custody since the day of that murder. It took them over a month to build the case against him to the point where charges could be brought. And that seems to be what's happening. They kept that very, very quiet. Like they said, they're missing a knife and the bike. They can't find either. And those pictures will be sent out through media sometime this afternoon through I think they're called the police information officer will hand them out to media. Very interesting that they've had him in custody, like, because it says in the thing they took him from the correctional facility to the local police station and charged him with murder today, which means he was already locked up. So that's a very interesting point he's making. like the journalist said, "Hey, did you know about him the whole time?" And the cop was sort of like, "Oh, yeah, we sort of, we had an idea and we investigated. It's been a month-long investigation. We did a lot of things. We had a coffee, got a sandwich, did some charges, did some investigating." A real non-answer.
The murder happened on the 2nd of May. We believe there's now sufficient evidence to charge this man through what I said before, through reviewing CCTV, obtaining statements, getting information from the public, the local community, Coffs Harbour, and also forensic evidence that we will say that it's a strong circumstantial case, sufficient enough to charge this man with the murder of Kai and place him and bail refuse him before court today.
Any details about what that forensic evidence mentioned?
It'll come out in court, but there's forensic evidence that links what we all allege, links this 36-year-old man to the murder of Kai.
If you had good forensic evidence, you wouldn't say it was a circumstantial case. You would say it's a DNA-based case. So I'm interested in what forensic evidence they have and how strong is that evidence to link this guy to the murder. Not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying it's interesting that they are describing it only as a circumstantial case against him. If you had solid DNA, you'd just be like, "Oh, yeah, we've got great forensic, DNA can link him to it." So I'm interested to know what exactly is their forensic evidence against the guy, and why is it being described as only circumstantial compared to, just normal evidence. Okay, let's listen to the couple last minutes.
Has he said anything in relation?
I can't comment on what he says. He was interviewed today, he was charged, and he faces court today.
And there was never any.
New South Wales Police there speaking about the arrest and charging.
All right, they're going to leave it, so we're going to drop it too. Interesting. Glad that they've finally done that. Interesting to find out that guy's been in custody the whole time. They only felt like they had enough information and evidence to charge him with murder today, and he has fronted court, been denied bail, and he'll be remanded until his next court appearance. And then we'll find out more. He'll eventually go on trial for those charges, and we'll find out what evidence they have. This so-called forensic evidence. Maybe it's fingerprints. Could be items. Could be something he left at the scene. Something that doesn't sound like it's DNA. Because if it was DNA, they just wouldn't say it was circumstantial. All right. People are asking about the girls. No update on the 2 missing teenagers, although the Herald Sun down here put out an article about, they say it came out about 8 minutes ago, but it's showing as posted at 9 a.m. So I'll show you. But these 2 young ladies, Monique Rowland and Emily Rowland, 12 and 13 years old, both missing from the Hunter Valley region in New South Wales, but I don't have any extended information about them. Being that they're minors, we're probably not going to get very much unless something dramatic happens. Either they'll be found or we'll proceed to the next stage of criminal investigation. So that's how it tends to work down here. I don't see anything that I haven't already told you, but they're saying anyone with their whereabouts is urged to contact Crime Stoppers 1-800-333-000. There's a photo of them too, but no update. Don't know. They haven't shared what their relationship is, even though they do share a last name. So there could be family of some sort. If they're not sisters, they could be cousins. Something like that. It just doesn't say what their relationship is. It's interesting. You would think if they were sisters, they would say that, "Oh, 2 sisters are missing from their home," but it doesn't say that. It says an urgent search is underway for 2 teenage girls, which it's not right. She's 13 and Monique is 12. 12 is not a teenager, right? A teenager is from 13. So she's actually a preteen, and the other one is a teenager. Whatever. I mean, it's close enough, but maybe she's close to her birthday or something. They said the pair were unable to be located. The family started freaking out and notified police and have since launched an investigation into their whereabouts. Officers and the girl's family hold concerns about their welfare due to the young age of them both. Yep, 13 and 12, that's pretty young to be wandering about. And, they live in a rural town. It's a larger town, but, they can't go too far. They're very young, very young. All right, bye, Reby. Have fun. It is weird. It is. But I don't have, there's been no update. You would have figured if they found them today, we would have got an update already. Let me just double check. They're still putting out updates as of under 20 minutes ago. Daily Telegraph put out one as well. Let me just check. Where's this thing? No, not that one. Let me look for the girls. Where are they? You would think they're on the front page, but they don't seem to be. Here. So this is from the Daily Telegraph in Sydney. Similar article. They just said an urgent search is underway for 2 teenage girls who vanished from a home in the New South Wales Hunter Valley region. But yeah, same information. And that was posted in the last half an hour. So they must be still missing. They must not have been found yet. If I get an update, I will tell you. I will tell you whether they've been located or not. All right, let me set this up. Very interesting over the surfing murder. I find that doesn't normally happen that way, where it's a homeless person who murders someone randomly in a car park. It normally happens the other way around, where someone has been mean to a homeless person. All right. So we've got some updates in the Russell Hill and Carol Clay trial. It says here, so actually Gregory Lynn has been on the stand giving his version of events over the last couple of days. And he gave a more in-depth explanation of how the couple died, sort of like his recollection of it. And I'm going to show you here. On Tuesday, the footage showed to the court showed Lynn giving police a detailed explanation of how and where he says the deaths occurred in relation to their campsite, including by him referring to crime scene photos. He said his shotgun had accidentally discharged as he wrestled with Hill for control of the weapon, striking Clay in the head and killing her instantly. It was a little more than a minute later that Hill then came to him with a knife. He said, hold on, who's messaging me? No one. He said, he was marching very quickly towards me. It was dark, but I could see the steel flashing in his hand. He's talking about that knife that apparently they wrestled over. During the ensuing fight, he said he tried to control the direction of the blade, as he had done when wrestling Hill for control of the shotgun. But when he was pushed to the ground, the knife accidentally plunged into Hill's chest. Lynn indicated to an area to the left of the sternum, near the heart, where he said the knife pierced Hill's chest. He again told police at this point he panicked, and then he says, and then I thought, What am I going to do? My business, my profession is working in decision making pathways. He told police he was left with bruises on his back and chest after the struggle with Hill, but no cuts. Lynn said he was trained to make quick decisions, trying to come to the best outcome. That's what I was trying to do. None of my decisions, whichever pathway I took, was going to make any difference to these two. During the interview, Lynn took an A4 notepad, turned it horizontally, and started writing down for police some of the considerations that crossed his mind, noting that the consequences for him as a pilot would be more severe than if he was a tradie or a doctor. He said, "I'm not saying I went through this on paper, but once I did, then I had a list of tasks to do. These tasks included cleaning the crime scene, with Lynn telling police he removed all traces of himself there and felt confident nobody would know he had been in the Wanangata Valley at the same time as Hill and Clay, as he had not spoken to anyone other than them in the area for 2 days." He also said that his aim in dumping the bodies at a secluded location off the Union Spur track was not so it seemed they had disappeared, but because it meant he could. One of the two missing person squad detectives involved in the interview described Lynn as meticulous, but asked him why, when shit has gone down in the campsite, did he not decide to go and tell the coppers what the go is, rather than making 100 more decisions about what I'm going to do. Lynn responded, "We're all different. We're all different." Lynn told police it was confronting, and he vomited several times when he returned to the high country to burn the bodies of Hill and Clay in November 2020. He said he lit a fire using sticks and logs and some kerosene he brought with him, and the blaze burned from sunset to sunrise before he set about scattering the remains. At the end of the interview, the officers tell him he's going to be charged with the murders of Hill and Clay. Lynn is then asked if he wishes to say anything regarding those charges. He responds, "I'm innocent of murder. I haven't behaved well. I've made some poor decisions, but murder as I understand it, I'm innocent of." Lynn was then asked if he wished to make a handwritten statement, to which he responded, "I think it's pretty much covered here." And then, yeah, the trial continues. So that was his police interview. He was very dead set from the outset that he had to do what he had to do, and that's going to be his defense through the whole thing, is that it was basically, self-protection. But we'll see. Understatement. No, if you're asking about if there's any better photos of the girls, there is not. That's the only photo that was released to the media. Every channel has it. Every news station has it. That's the only one they gave out. I don't know why. You would think they might use school photos or something like that, where their profile is very clear, but they decided to use a fuzzy photo from Facebook. I don't know why. But yeah, this Lynn trial is definitely heating up. I don't know what you think, but to me, and this is just, if I was in that situation, not commenting on Gregory Lynn at all, just if that was me, I would say sometimes one thing is, like it's an accident, and then two things can be a pattern. The fact that you have two accidents that seem to randomly go your way is interesting. It's something I would have a think about. The fact that you have two deadly situations with three people involved, but you end up being the only one left standing. How much of that is coincidence and how much of that is, almost premeditation? It's something that I would very heavily consider if that was me. Sorry, I can't give you a more detailed breakdown. I'm not allowed to. But that's all I can say. Yeah, I find his explanation interesting. And the cops are saying that because he's a pilot, he's a detail-orientated person, and, doing his job, he's gotta be very precise. So, I wonder what the jury thinks. I wonder what they have to, what they think about this. Alright, we're gonna get pinged for this, but I don't care. Let's watch the update for it.
Murder trial that the world is watching. For the first time, a jury has heard Greg Lynn's version of events on what led to the deaths of campers Russell Hill and Carol Clay in Victoria's High Country. An explosive 3-hour police interview has been played in court in which the former pilot told detectives he destroyed evidence. He said, "I panicked. It's my shotgun. I'm going to be found guilty of this, and I tried to cover it up." Lynn claims it was a struggle over a gun and later a knife, which led to the deaths of Ms. Clay and Mr. Hill. He's pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of murder. For more, I'm joined by criminal psychologist Tim Watson-Munro. Good morning to you. How often do we see police interviews played in court like this?
More often than not. There can be exclusions. For example, if the person being interviewed wasn't given the police caution, if the person has an intellectual disability, for example, and they don't have a support person there, and they may make admissions that are contrary to their best interest. But generally speaking, by the time it's gone to court, there's an agreement that that evidence can be admitted, and it's more often than not that it is.
It's a fascinating insight for the rest of us, isn't it? How important is that first interview with police?
It can be critical. It's a time when the individual is probably most vulnerable. They may make admissions against interest. You may have a situation where police look for inconsistencies in the police record of interview. But generally speaking, from my experience, most people charged with serious crimes tend to make a no comment record of interview.
Talking about that is very interesting how much detail he was willing to give police officers without any legal representation next to him. Yeah, that's true. I think that got brought up more than once that I think even the police said it to him that he's had years, or not years, he had 18 months to come up with his version of events that would suit the circumstances and paint him in a positive light. No one goes into a police interview painting themselves as the villain. Everyone goes in there wanting to show the events in the most positive light that they can. No one goes into it going, yeah, I'm a cold-blooded killer. I love killing. It's the greatest thing in the world. And, how many charges are you going to give me today for that? No, everyone wants to reduce personal liability when they're in a police interview, especially if they've done something wrong. Although innocent people will most likely just tell you what you want to know. So it's interesting to listen to him, especially because he was pretty forthcoming with his information about what happened. He didn't have to say anything. He could have said nothing. He could have said, "I just want a lawyer." And the information would have been, the interview would have been over at the snap of a finger, would have been done. And they would have had no recorded interview. So they do say that about people who lie, that they say it so many times that it becomes their actual reality, aka the Laurie Vallow syndrome. No, I'm just kidding. There's no such thing as the Laurie Vallow syndrome. But yeah, it's possible. I think the jury still has a very difficult job in this trial. 2 people are dead. The only person who was actually there is the accused. You have no other people. You have no real other witnesses. No one who can place them really together at the same point in time. And about the only thing you have tying him to the murders is 1, his own admissions, 2, his car being caught on that number plate recognition system as he fled the area, carrying their bodies, according to police, in the back of the trailer. Other than that, you don't really have much, except for what he's given to police and his version of events. So I do not envy this jury one bit. This is going to be a hard one for them. Right, that's all they've got though. There's no one else really to write the other half. Police can try, but there's no one there. There's no cameras, there's no audio recording devices, no CCTV. They can only put together as best they can is a half forensic, half circumstantial, and then bring in facts from this guy's own admissions during interviews. So I think it'll be very interesting by the time we get to the end. I will be interested to see if they take the same type of trial with Erin Patterson, although I don't think so. I think her one's going to be very different. All right, hold on. All right. Let's see if we can get something else about the Lynn trial. Let me see what I can get for you. Huh. This is a different, Greg Lynn trial, former pilot. I'm glad they've dropped the jet from his title. Former pilot tells police he burned Russell Hill and Carol Clay's bodies for hope. So I think it was hope that he'd get away with it. They're saying sitting in an interview room with two detectives, accused double murderer Greg Lynn told police he believed wild dogs had fed on the remains of two missing campers. Mr. Lynn is facing a trial in Victoria's Supreme Court after pleading not guilty to the murders of Russell Hill and Carol Clay in March 2020. Prosecutors allege that he killed the pair without lawful justification, likely following an argument with Mr. Hill over his drone. While the former pilot has asked the jury to find both died accidental deaths. Well, that'll be interesting. The trial resumed on Tuesday as the jury was shown the remaining 2 hours of Mr. Lynn's interview. Shortly before 6 p.m. on November 25th, 2021, he was informed he would be charged with Mr. Hill and... No. They've actually got it here as Mr. Hill and Mr. Clay. It's Mr. Hill and Mrs. Clay, or Miss Clay. Mr. Hill and Miss Clay's murder. Asked if there was anything he'd like to say to that. According to the recording, he said, "I'm innocent of murder. I haven't behaved well. I've made some poor decisions, but murder as I understand it, I'm innocent." So let's move to this bit. Wearing a grey jumper and face mask, the former pilot twirled a pen in his hands as he answered questions from two missing persons squad detectives. In the interview after his arrest in November 2021, Mr. Lynn said he returned to burn the bodies after lockdown ended in November 2020. Yeah, when Victoria went through a really long COVID lockdown twice, went through it in 2020 and 2021. Both were many months long and restricted movement of people beyond 5 or 10 kilometers from your local area. So there was no way he'd be able to get out there during lockdown. He told the officers that he lifted a few branches to confirm that they were still there before using about 2 liters of kerosene to ignite the fire. He said, "Yes, it was my intention to get rid of the evidence because I clearly had failed to make myself disappear. I didn't want to have to do it. It was a horrific thing. I was sick several times." Here's a photo of the area. I'm guessing that's the tree there or somewhere around here that he buried them. He said Mrs. Clay was largely missing her head due to the shotgun blast, and it appeared a wild dog or fox had visited in the months prior, according to the recording. It was gruesome, he said. There had been activity from a wild dog, so if something was taken away and you'd find it later, I wouldn't be surprised. In the recording, Mr. Lynn said he had contingency plans to dump any large bones in a river, but by the time the fire burned out around sunrise, there was nothing left. I was really surprised, he said. I did add a few sticks along the way, but there was nothing there at the end, nothing bigger than about 20 millimeters long. Probably because the bodies had been there for so long, the decomposition process had probably been so advanced, and they may have dried out over a hot summer to the point where the bones weren't very damp anymore, and burning what was ever left was quite easy. Probably very different than burning a person you killed today that has a very high water concentration within their body. Makes it much harder to destroy them via fire. You can do it, it's just a lot more difficult than just a couple liters of kerosene. In the recording, Mr. Lin referenced his profession, saying he was a pilot. He was used to making quick decisions to come to the best outcome. Yeah, we read about this already. He said, it might have taken 10 minutes to explain to you, but really it takes seconds. It wasn't a long process. The jury heard he set himself a list of tasks and set about carrying them out, including setting fire to the scene and disposing of the bodies. Then he says, then you knocked on my door and I realized it was unraveling. Earlier in the recording, Mr. Lin said Sergeant Florence had knocked on his door in July 14th, 2020. And he said, I thought, well, this plan is not working. I haven't been able to disappear, so I have to make any remaining evidence disappear. Mr. Lin told officers that he then formed the plan to return to the bodies and destroy them. At that point, I realized I had to go back. I had to wait for lockdown to finish and wait for the roads to be cleared of snow. Mr. Lin also apparently is accused of taking the campers' cash for fuel. In the recording, the jury heard the accused man was questioned if he took any items from Mr. Hill and Mrs. Clay's wallet. He said, there was some cash I took, and I used that to buy fuel. I didn't need the money. I wanted to pay cash to avoid leaving a trace. In the interview, Sergeant Florence said he would need to pause as he wanted to go to the site Mr. Lin had nominated as the couple's final resting place. Mr. Lin responded, I'm not going anywhere, before asking if he could speak with his wife, Melanie. Here's a photo of his wife right here. Yeah, I guess she's going to court to see what happens to her husband. On Monday afternoon, jurors were sent home shortly after 3 p.m. after they were told the 2 remaining hours of the interview were not ready to be played. They said, you'll notice at points there's blips and editing. That's a standard thing that occurs at trials, Justice Michael Croucher said. That editing process is still going on at the moment and won't be finished until tomorrow morning. So that's why they delayed it till today. On Monday, the footage of the interview was played in which Mr. Lin said he was already camping at Bucks Camp in Wanangata Valley, where Mr. Hill and Mrs. Clay arrived in the afternoon of March 19, 2020. He said the pair seemed nice at first, and they told him they were also planning to camp at the spot. I said, there's 100 other campsites, but if you want to camp here, it's a free country. Mr. Lin said their initially cordial interactions changed in the evening of March 20, when Mr. Hill accused him of hunting too close to camp and threatened to go to police. You know, if I was a police officer and I was trying to make sense of this information from the scene that I have with 2 missing people that I later find dead, a man who we think is involved and may be the person who killed these 2 people, not proven in a court of law yet, I would be thinking this might be the part that is where the truth is sort of, this would be my threshold of where the truth is. So anything past this is possible self-preservation by Mr. Lin. Just my opinion. So that would be that they arrived on the 19th, Mr. Hill and Mrs. Clay, and that initially they were cordial, and then there was an interaction about hunting too close to camp, and then that's it. That's where the line is drawn about where, agreed truth will be. That's sort of my opinion anyway. You have misgendered Nightbot? Don't do that. He'll get very mad at you. Deborah says, how messed is this guy? Pretty messed. Yeah, Nightbot is a guy, I think. I don't know. It's a robot. It could be nothing. But yeah, very interesting trial. Guys, give me 1 minute. I need a drink. Hold on. All right. A murder S in Knoxville. Is that the one we read out earlier? We can have a look. We're about done with this. We're about done with Mr. Hill. Not Mr. Hill. Mr. Lynn. I think we're done. Yeah, that's where I'd like to leave it. All right. Wait, hold on. Uh-huh. Okay, at the start of the trial, Mr. Lynn's barrister told the jury there was no that he was not guilty on both counts. Both murders or the alternative. Okay. His barrister said, as a matter of law, the prosecution will have to disprove his account. The prosecution will have to disprove that beyond a reasonable doubt. So they got a lot of work to do in this trial to somehow disprove his version of events and to convince the jury that their version of events is more likely to have happened. So we'll see. All right, I found your Knoxville story. Hold on, let me grab it.
Authorities are now naming the couple in what investigators are calling a suspected murder-suicide. Betty Goldston and Richard Goebel were found this morning inside a bedroom of a West Knoxville condo.
It happened at about 1 this morning, and authorities did respond to what they call a domestic dispute and a fire. 10 News reporter Krista Lucas joins us with what we know right now. Krista?
According to the Knoxville Police Department, they had to climb in a second-floor window to get to Goldston and Goebel, but authorities say a teenager made it out okay.
The 911 dispatch received a call of smoke coming from a ceiling. This is a two-story condo out west off Gleason.
Tim Woods from the Knoxville Fire Department says fire crews first tackled the interior.
After they knocked the initial fire down, they actually stopped firefighting operations briefly because they were informed that there was like a possible of people barricaded on the inside.
53-year-old Betty Goldston and 56-year-old Richard Goebel were found dead inside a bedroom. Goldston's teenage daughter walked out unharmed.
I mean, she was able to self-evacuate, whether she was upstairs or downstairs, don't really know.
Now, investigators are looking into what happened.
They go in and try to determine exactly where the fire started, what caused the fire, which all that's under investigation till they kind of come up with their conclusions and then release a report.
Krista, we just heard a little bit about the fire investigation. What do we know about the initial call that led up to the domestic dispute call?
Well, police say they believe Richard Goebel set the fire. They have not told us anything about a motive, and they have not determined the cause of death yet.
Krista, thank you.
Is underway into what Knoxville police are describing as a murder-suicide.
All right. There we go. That is you know what's interesting? That last name Goebel, there was another woman who was murdered in a murder. I'm just going to get demonetized every time I say that word. She died in an M/S over the weekend too, and their last name was Goebel as well. They found their bodies over the weekend. Interesting that these people have the same or similar last name. Yeah. It says man and woman found dead in what Knoxville police are calling a murder-s. Police are investigating a murder at a Knoxville condo where two people were found dead in the early hour morning of June 3rd. Betty Goldston, 53, and Richard Goebel, spelt differently, died in their home on Gleason Drive near Westtown Mall. Police responded to a call at 1 a.m. about a domestic dispute and saw smoke coming from an upper floor. After crews entered the home to fight the fire, both people were found dead in a bedroom. Far too much of this going on in the world. 5 minutes from your house, could you see the smoke? Yeah, the daughter will be just horrified. What an awful story. We'll keep an eye on that one. See if they do a press update for that. I have another story which is horrific. Hold on. Where is it? It says Spring Farm Public School. Teacher accused of upskirting little girls at primary school is identified as a father of a young daughter. And it's his name is Guy Miogrossi, 30, arrested on Monday. He allegedly filmed up female students' skirts at the school. A primary school teacher accused of filming up little girls' skirts in the Sydney Southwest is the father of a young daughter. His name is Guy. He's age 30. Was arrested at Spring Farm Public School near Camden about 1:30 p.m. on Monday after allegedly creating CSAM. Police will allege a student saw him filming up the skirts of female students and reported the behavior to another teacher. That teacher then allegedly informed the school's principal, who promptly contacted the police. Here's a photo of him right here. What a creep. And he's apparently got a little girl. That is very concerning. It says Miogrossi was taken to Norellan Police Station where he was charged with one count of filming a person's private parts without consent, one aggravated count of filming a person's private parts without consent, and producing CSAM. He appeared in Campbelltown local court on Tuesday where he was refused bail. Photos on social media show him doting over his 6-year-old daughter, who he shares with an ex-partner. I would be getting that girl to a police psychologist like yesterday and seeing if, there's anything there. Like, she needs to be protected too. And the fact that he's targeting young girls the same age as his daughter is very concerning. Extremely concerning. I hope that the daughter is interviewed by a child interviewer urgently. Photos on social media show him, yep. Daily Mail understands Miogrossi was employed as a Year 6 teacher. His name has since been removed from the staff list on the school's website. What a freak here. All right, hold on, guys. My cat is being annoying. All right, sorry, I had to sort out the little cat. SA, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it says he has partial contact with his daughter. No, Year 6 would be, Year 6, like 9, 10, something like that. It's the year before high school in Australia, the year before Year 7, which is the first year of high school. Your cat's name is Storm. This one here who likes to rip open her biscuit bag is called Rory. Rory, come here. Come on, girl. You guys can't see her, but she's right here. Come on, jump up. You gonna jump up and say hello? No? don't eat the bags, hey? Don't eat the bags. Yeah, you guys can't see her, but she's right here. Yeah, we didn't name her. She came with that name. Yeah, Rory. Ah, it's interesting that the years are different between countries. But what a freak this guy is. I really would be getting his daughter to a police forensic, like a child investigator who can speak to children without traumatizing them. Just to make sure. Let me see if I can find anything else about this guy. Daily Telegraph. Okay. It says a primary school teacher from Sydney Southwest has been removed from teaching duties after he was charged with allegedly filming and possessing CSAM. Police were called to Spring Farm Public School in Sydney Southwest shortly before 1:30 p.m. following reports of an incident. Officers were told the teacher had used his phone to make recordings of students. The teacher, identified as 30-year-old Guy Mia Grossi, was arrested and taken to Narellan Police Station and charged with film person's private parts without consent, aggravated, produced child abuse, CSAM, and film person's private parts without consent. He did not appear via audio-visual link at Campbelltown Local Court on Tuesday, as his legal aid lawyer Patricia Haddad made no application for bail. No pleas were entered at the time. The prosecution said a referral had been made for the Director of Public Prosecutions to take carriage of the case. Magistrate Christopher McRobert refused his bail and adjourned the matter till June 11th at Campbelltown Local Court. That was weird. Sorry, my phone just beeped while I was reading it, and then I opened it, and there was nothing there. It says a New South Wales Education Department spokesperson told the Daily Telegraph it was working with police as the employee has been removed from teaching duties. The safety of students is always our number one priority. Support and counselling services are available for students and staff members. There you go. I think we try to do our best. All teachers need to have their police checks and things like that. The biggest obstacle is, how do you find the abusers who haven't been charged yet, or don't have a police, any interaction with police? They're the most dangerous ones because they're not known. They're like, the unknown threat. And unknown threats are the biggest and hardest to deal with in any type of security operation, be that, cybersecurity or, physical security, schools, anything like that. It's the hardest thing because you can't see them and you don't know where they're coming from. So I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. Marylander says 7th to 8th grade is middle school in Ohio. I think someone sent me one. Hold on. Where's Laura? What? Laura sent me this story. Oh my god. Laura sent me a story saying a second fetus was found aboard the same MTA bus on which the first was found on Saturday. A what? A fetus? Hold on, I have to see this. Then we'll do the animal story.
Says he told the bus driver he needed to come to the back to take a look at something when he got off the bus, and that was closer to 10 a.m. here at the East 32nd and Alameda stop.
When I first saw it, I started to despair. Said somebody took the bonnet or whatever. It wasn't even a bonnet, I thought it was a handkerchief, and just maybe wiped it up and just left it there. On the bus, you see all kinds of craziness like that.
Carver soon realized it was a bonnet covering a baby on a seat. The bus driver told police he found the fetus at East 25th and Kirk Avenue around 12:30 p.m. The Carver says he alerted the driver closer to 10 a.m. He's disappointed in the response, saying it was horrifying to see for anyone.
This hit me so hard because my daughter had miscarriage.
When police arrived, they found a second fetus on the bus. Monday, 11 News spoke with a doctor who specializes in high-risk pregnancies.
It's a tragedy, and she was probably in a lot of extremis during this period of time.
Dr. Robert Atlas wants women to know there are resources available no matter your situation. He says prenatal care is vital. It helps reduce complications.
The concern I have for this individual is what happened to the afterbirth of the placentas, right? If they delivered, great, she probably is okay. If they didn't, having a retained placenta can be really problematic. That can lead to later bleeding or infection, which can be deadly.
The medical examiner's office says that the fetuses were stillborn. Baltimore police.
You know, I'm concerned that that's his only concern. His only concern is what happened to the placenta and the whatever else. I don't think that's your only concern. I think your other concern is why are they there? I think that's your concern. What the hell? What? I don't get it. Hold on, we have to look more into this. Baltimore police have confirmed that 2 fetuses were discovered on a Maryland Transit administrative bus on Saturday. The medical examiner's office took possession of each fetus and said both were stillborn. Police said it's too early to share any further details. It's unknown who left the fetuses on the bus. I just don't get it. Why? Is it someone who's mentally ill? Is it someone who is it someone who doesn't understand pregnancy, like someone who has a intellectual disability that maybe has been getting abused or something, or I don't know. My first thing says either someone who has an intellectual disability who has been abused by someone sexually and they've, miscarried or something, these babies. My other one is it's someone who's mentally unwell. Because, it just makes you go, what? Hold on. And how is there 2 of them? Did she have twins? All right, let's go to Fox 45 in Baltimore. They had an update 8 hours ago.
Developing tonight, Baltimore police say 2 fetuses were discovered on an MTA bus in East Baltimore over the weekend. Alexa Ashwell questioned police about this investigation. She joins us live with what we know now. Alexa?
Yes, Mary, it really is quite a shocking case. Baltimore police say both fetuses were found on the same MTA bus in East Baltimore over the weekend, and homicide detectives are now taking the lead in this investigation. Now, our cameras were there shortly after this discovery over the weekend. This is Kirk Avenue and East 25th Street in East Baltimore. According to BPD, around 12:30 in the afternoon Saturday, the driver of the bus discovered a fetus on one of the bus seats and contacted police. MTA officers responded along with BPD homicide detectives, crime lab techs, and the medical examiner. Now, it was during this time BPD is now confirming a second fetus was found on the bus. A spokesperson wouldn't say where it was in relation to the first fetus. Many questions remain at this hour. I asked BPD if they've been able to determine who left the fetuses on the bus, and if so, whether they're facing any charges. I also asked if investigators have been able to determine the gestational age of the fetuses and if either was viable. Police say this investigation remains in its very early stages. We, of course, will continue to follow this case and post any updates on there and online at foxbaltimore.com. For now, reporting live in Baltimore.
Oh, no, I know that. I just mean, if that's your only concern, I'm worried about what you think is normal on a bus. And Why won't they say where the second fetus was found? Does that tell you that it's someone that has intimate knowledge of how the bus works? Like someone who works on the bus? I don't know. It's very odd. The man again, the first one? Yeah, we can play that one again. Hold on. Might have to listen to it all, but we can play it again.
Carver says he told the bus driver he needed to come to the back to take a look at something when he got off the bus, and that was closer to 10 a.m. here at the East 32nd and Alameda stop.
When I first saw it, I started to spit. Said somebody took the bonnet or whatever. It wasn't even a bonnet, I thought it was a handkerchief, and just maybe wiped it up and just left it there. On the bus, you see all kinds of craziness like that.
Carver soon realized it was a bonnet covering a baby on a seat. The bus driver told police he found the fetus at East 25th and Kirk Avenue around 12:30 p.m. But Carver says he alerted the driver closer to 10 a.m. He's disappointed in the response, saying it was horrifying to see for anyone.
This hit me so hard because my daughter had a miscarriage.
When police arrived, they found a second fetus on the bus. Monday, 11 News spoke with a doctor who specializes in high-risk pregnancies.
It's a tragedy, and she was probably in a lot of extremis during this period of time.
Dr. Robert Atlas wants women to know there are resources available no matter your situation. He says prenatal care is vital. It helps reduce complications.
Yeah, it has to be a very small baby. That's why they wanted to know the gestational age or whatever. The how long the baby had developed, basically. No, I don't think it was his daughter. He just said his daughter had miscarried in the past and that he felt sad for the woman who felt that she had to do that because he had dealt with miscarriage in his family. Yeah, it's concerning that a woman felt the need to do that. I'd be real worried it was someone who's been abused, who didn't know they were pregnant or doesn't have the mental capacity to understand that they are pregnant or how sex leads to pregnancy. There's been heaps of cases. I've read about at least 20 in my time doing true crime of women who have an intellectual disability who have been abused by carers or something like that, and they've not really understood that they're having a baby as such, and someone else, another female, has figured out that they were pregnant and then taken them to a doctor, and then it unravels. They arrest the male carer who's been abusing them. So it has happened before. That's what I'd be worried about. You got to find the mum, right? By the way, there is no update for the one in Australia where the woman gave birth on the riverbank. They have not been able to find the lady at all. There was an update article yesterday. Police are still appealing for her to take herself to hospital. Other than that, they don't know anything else. So it's concerning, yeah. Hopefully they can figure out who the girl is. I mean, it could be a 40-year-old woman. I mean, not likely, but who knows? There you go. Laura knows. That's crazy that your neighbor was 9 months pregnant and she was still very skinny. Yeah, some women don't carry. Some women don't carry with a large belly. Some just look almost normal, like that cheerleader. That cheerleader in the one who went to trial for allegedly killing her baby or whatever. She put on some weight and she'd had a somewhat of a belly, but she didn't look 9 months pregnant. She could still wear her prom dress. So It does happen, especially with athletic women or smaller women. All right, fine. No more fetuses. I don't want to do that anymore. Hey, Muff. Oh no, hey Rory. Oh Rory, don't do that. You silly animal. Don't pull down the headphones. All right. We have a doggy story. A good dog. Three-legged canine continues fight for true crime. No. Three-legged canine continues to fight crime after losing leg. Oh, your poor baby. Let's watch him.
He's one of the most popular members of the Wise County Sheriff's Office.
He loves to work.
His name is Boone, and he's a 1-year-old bloodhound canine.
That dog is just motivated and has the abilities to just hit a track and go straight to it.
Sergeant Michael Tabor is Boone's handler.
We had Boone the other day. Remember watching the video the other day and Boone came up? Yeah, we know Boone. Ah, this is his story. He's three-legged canine. Okay.
The dog, you've got you're on
Dog.
call 24/7.
And the two are always ready to go.
Ready to go? He's got exceptional drive. You can't make him not work.
Sheriff Grant Kilgore says that was until a few months ago.
Then one day he gets this knot on his leg.
That knot was cancer.
Your heart drops. And you're just scares you to death.
Vets removed the cancer, which also led to the amputation of Boone's leg. He was set to retire, with Kilgore and Tabor already looking for a new dog.
2 or 3 days after the surgery, I was talking to the vet, and she said, "This dog's bouncing around like it has 5 legs. It does not know it's missing a leg." And she said, "He's going to be able to go back to work."
After getting the all clear from the vet,
Find him, man.
Boone was back doing the impossible.
When the vet cleared him to come back into service, it's like, man, this is the greatest day ever.
He was motivated. He wanted to get out there and he wanted to find people.
Good boy. Good boy. And a few weeks after being cleared, he found a missing child. And within the next 9 days, Boone would find 2 more.
3 finds in 10 days. That's just amazing work, and only, in my opinion, only comes from the greatest dog.
Who has some big potential for his future.
He's such a great dog, and I'm so thankful he's pushed through it.
Sorry, during the pet story, you guys might have seen Rory jump up. She was like, I want to see the dog. I don't know. What are you doing, girl? She wants food, I think. Hi. Hi. You want food, do you, girl? Yeah, the fact he went back to work, that's pretty good. Only a few weeks after, but he's lucky he didn't lose his life. Glad they were able to fix him, get him back to work, and he's back to being a police officer again. We've seen Boone before. He was on what was he on? I don't know. We had some story and we saw him. I know, what a great story to end with, Mr. Boone. We were watching some other true crime article, and then all of a sudden Boone came up, and then we watched a different article, and then Boone came up again, and we were like, hey, why does this dog keep popping up? But now we know his story. He had cancer, lost his leg, and was able to get back to work. That is a good story to end on. All right. That's interesting. They're showing a... We'll do this one tomorrow. There was a Gangland hit video that came out. Oh my god, Rory. Girl. Hello. Hey. I'll feed you in a minute. Hey. Rory, come on. Alright, girl. Alright. Hey. Alright, we're gonna go. We're gonna go, okay? Hold on. Alright, I better go before she eats me. Yeah, she wanted to talk into the microphone. Yeah, she's a very prissy girl. She likes to get in front of the camera. Yeah, she can jump real high. This desk is pretty high, and she just jumped straight onto it. That's pretty funny. Yeah, she didn't like it because I was holding her tail down so she didn't flash you all, and then she's like meow meow. Yeah, she likes dogs actually. There's a dog that lives in the block that comes down and visits her. All right. Hey, I love you all. I got one last thing to say, and it's from my friend Beth B. Beth B says, Ping, please take care of your health. Hope Mrs. Ping is well now. Thanks, Beth B. I really appreciate that, Beth, and thank you so much for being such a great supporter of the channel. I really appreciate it. At this stage, Beth will end up having a castle named after her. It'll be called the Beth B. Monumental True Crime Castle of, awesomeness. It'll have a different acronym. Yeah, I think a lot of dogs are pretty good having the leg missing. I think so, Shivers Girl. I think so. Hey, I love you all. I'll be back tomorrow 9 p.m. 9 p.m. for more true crime from around the world. And if you haven't subscribed, something like, I can't remember what it is, 50-something% of people who watch this channel are not subscribed. And if you're not, I would appreciate it if you do. We're trying to get to that 1,000. It'd be a nice achievement. And yeah, give us a hand. Subscribe today. Hey, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, okay? Peace out. Bye-bye. Good night. Hey, tomorrow night we'll have a brand new video. I've been running this one for a few days now to sort of make up for the people who missed out while I was sick. So tomorrow we'll have a brand new one for June. I've been working on it for a few days. So look out for some new music and a brand new ending video tomorrow. Peace out. Bye.